Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today I am going to start the second lecture, Hematopoiesis second lecture. And the previous lecture we discussed that what is hematopoiesis. Actually, hematopoiesis is the process in which the hematopoietic stem cell differentiate into mature blood cell. The process is called hematopoiesis. What is hematopoiesis? The process in which hematopoietic stem cell differentiate into mature blood cell is known as hematopoiesis. Now the question arises that where the hematopoiesis occur. The very important question is that where is the hematopoietic stem cell reside, where is the hematopoietic stem cell reside, and where in the body and in which organ hematopoiesis occur. The simple answer is that we have two primary lymphoid organ. We have two primary lymphoid organ. One is the thymus, where T cell complete their maturation, and the other is bone marrow. And the bone marrow and in the thymus, actually the hematopoietic stem cell resides, and where they do their differentiation and form blood cells. But you should note that in the thymus only the T cell maturation of the T cell occur. But in the bone marrow, the hematopoietic stem cell reside and they differentiate into the blood cells. But the question arises that what is bone marrow? You should note that bone marrow is a fluid filled spaces between bone. In the bone there is fluid filled spaces, and these fluid filled spaces is known as bone marrow. Now actually the bone marrow, they have two types. Bone marrow, how many types of bone marrow? There are two types of bone marrow. One is called red bone marrow and the other is called yellow bone marrow. Now what is the yellow bone marrow? Actually the type of bone marrow that consists of specialized stem cell called mesenchymal stem cells or stromal cells. What is yellow bone marrow? The type of bone marrow in which mesenchymal stem cells or stromal cell are found are called yellow bone marrow. Actually, what is the function of these cells? In the yellow bone marrow, you know that cartilage forming cells are present. For example, chondriocytes, bone cells are present, osteoblast and adipose tissues forming cells are present that are called adipocytes. So yellow bone marrow have mesenchymal stem cells and they are responsible for the formation of cartilage, bone cells and adipose tissues. Now red bone marrow resides actually in red bone marrow resides the hematopoietic stem cells. Now what is the main property of the hematopoietic stem cell? What is the main potential? The main potential or main property of hematopoietic stem cell is that it have the ability of self-renewal ability. Self-renewal ability means that it differentiate into the blood cells as well as it maintain its population. Now what is the amount of hematopoietic stem cell in bone marrow? For according to the research, 5 multiplied by 10 raised to the power 4 cell in the bone marrow they are present, and it is controlled by cell division or cell death or differentiation of the bone marrow. Now which factor regulate the hematopoietic stem cell in the bone marrow? So the simple answer is that there is a transcriptional factors that are involved in the regulation of the hematopoiesis. Now the one transcriptional factor is GATA2. Actually it helps in the development of all hematopoietic stem cells. Now what will be the problem at this GATA2? A transcriptional factor is absent in the bone marrow. The simple answer is that animal die in the during the process of embryogenesis. If this GATA2 is absent, now the animal will die early in the embryogenesis. Another factor, that is BMI 1, BMI 1, it is not BMI 2. BMI 1 is required for the self-renewal process of hematopoietic stem cell. Now the question arises that if BMI 1 is absent in a person, what will happen, or in animal will die within 2 months. Why? Because due to the failure of repopulation of hematopoietic stem cell. Another factor is a chorus. A chorus required for the lymphoid stem cells formation. So if the chorus is absent in a body, in an animal, what will happen? The person will be immunocompromised. Actually, today we have discussed the bone marrow, and now you know that stem cell are also present in the skin. Skin also have stem cell, and this skin have the ability of replication. So we say that skin is a type of labile cell. When you wash your hand, or during naturally rupturing your skin, the skin what they do, they replicate and they reproduce themselves, the cells, they produce their cells. So skin have the ability to replicate after you washing. Why? Because stem also have stem cell. Today we have discussed about the bone marrow and introduction to the bone marrow, and what are the factors that control the hematopoiesis. And the next lecture, in the third lecture, we will start that how the hematopoiesis occur, how the hematopoietic stem cell differentiate into mature blood cell. We will discuss in the next lecture.